So for today's class, a couple of blocks could come in handy, a blanket and a bolster. And to arrive today, I invite you to find your comfy seat, maybe giving a rock forward and back and side to side. And you could sit on a meditation pillow, a blanket, something to give you a little added extra cushion. And then taking a moment to arrive in your seat. Rooting down through your sits bones, keeping a nice tall spine, maybe a small tuck of your chin. Hands could be placed down upon your knees, or if it feels good, maybe a hand on the belly and a hand on your heart, whichever resonates best with you today. And then I invite you to draw some attention to your breath without changing it, without judging it. Just noticing how you're breathing. Are you breathing from your belly? Or are you breathing from your chest? And then taking a moment to tune into your mind. Where's your mind going to today? Is it thinking about something that you have to do later on? Or is it thinking about plans that you have for during the week? And then I invite you to acknowledge those thoughts. Give them the attention that they're asking for. And then setting them back off onto the side of your mat, knowing that they'll still be there after class for you to pick back up again. And then I invite you to set an intention for class today. Could be something as simple as I am present, or I am happy, or I will practice self-compassion today. Whatever resonates with you. And then I invite you to try a 3-part breath. This is where you inhale through the nose, feeling the chest rise and the belly receive the breath. Exhale through the mouth, feeling the chest lower and the belly soften. Inhale through the nose, chest rise, belly receives. Exhale through the mouth, chest lowers and belly softens. And when it feels right and you feel ready, slowly opening your eyes. Inhale, arms up above the head, and exhale, cleansing breath. And taking a moment here, if you're sitting on a meditation pillow like I am, feeling free to move that out of the way. Taking those legs, stretching them out, maybe giving some attention to the ankles, making some gentle circles, being sure not to flex the feet up and down, just little wiggles. Maybe rolling those knees. If you go one way, I invite you to try going the other. And then when it feels right and you feel ready, drawing those legs back in. Inhaling, arms up above the head, and exhaling down, right hand to the outside of the left knee, left hand coming back. And we don't have to make a big, deep twist here. If you'd like a little bit more of a twist though, maybe turning your neck, And just gently looking back behind you. Inhaling, arms back up above the head. Exhaling, coming down to the opposite side. Left hand on the outside of the right knee. Right hand coming behind. Making sure you keep a small tuck of the chin here. Belly stays forward. And then feeling free to give a small turn, looking behind. Inhaling back up. Exhaling down onto the opposite side. Noticing your breath. Inhale up. Exhale down, last one. Inhale up. Cleansing breath. Exhale down. From here, feeling free to bring in the blocks if it feels good. You don't have to do this. You can just leave your hand on the mat. Putting the blocks beside you and pushing them far enough away where your fingertips reach. And then inhaling, left hand up above the head. Now, if it feels good, you can sink down in here, inviting in a stretch. But if this feels good, you can stay right here. You don't have to sink down in. The whole point is just to open it up right here. Inhaling, right arm up. Exhaling, left hand comes down onto that block or onto the mat, whichever feels best for you here. And then inhaling, left hand up. Exhaling, right hand coming down. If it feels good, maybe looking up at that left hand. And then bringing head back down to center. Inhaling, right hand up. Exhaling, left hand down. And then maybe looking up at that right hand. And then bringing left hand up. And then exhale, cleansing breath back down. We're gonna meet up into tabletop. And I invite you to bring in a blanket here for the knees. And then coming down, knees should be underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. If you have grumpy wrists today, feeling free to bring in the blocks. Whichever feels best, all options, not requirements. We're gonna do a cat-cow here. Exhaling up, inhaling to cow. And you can play with the breath here. Maybe you inhale the cat and then exhale to cow. Just noticing what that feels like. And then letting your sacrum or your lower back lead the way. See if that changes anything for you. Taking one more cat-cow here. And when it feels right and you feel ready, bending right foot back, and then taking a minute to just rock back and forth here. Bringing in that stretch to the lower calf muscle. Taking one more, and then drawing navel to spine, tightening that core diamond, lifting the left hand, making sure the hips are square to the mat, and lifting the right leg. Feeling free to hold here, and knowing that you can put down your hand or your leg at any point. One more breath, and then settling left hand onto the mat and settling that right foot down. Tracing that right foot behind the left leg, and then maybe taking a turn and looking back for cat contemplating its tail. Holding for one more breath. And then sliding that foot out to the side. Now I'm going to turn just so it's easier for you to see. So toes on the right foot should be pointed forward. And then feeling free to rock here as well. Maybe it feels better to hold, but inviting in that stretch into the inner thigh. And maybe taking one more breath here, finding neutral. And then engaging core diamond, navel drawn in towards spine, walking your hands back and then lifting up. Beautiful. Then inhaling left hand up above the head for gate pose. Now from here, this can be plenty. If you'd like, maybe sliding right hand down the leg, left hand comes up over the top of the head. And then exhaling, bringing it back down. Now, option, not requirement, if you would like to try. Engaging core diamond, settling left hand down onto the mat. Maybe right arm comes up, looking up towards that hand, engaging core diamond, and then lifting the right foot. Holding for one more breath, and then settling that foot back down. Right hand follows, turning. So we're back down in sun dog and drawing knee back in, settling hips back, coming down into child's pose. Now, if you find that you have a hard time settling your head down onto the mat, feeling free to place 2 blocks in front of you, toes together, knees spread. This could be easier than knees together. And then settling back. Taking a moment to notice your breath. How are you breathing this morning? And I invite you to practice ahimsa today. Ahimsa is self-compassion, knowing when it's time to come out of a pose and not pushing yourself any further than what needs to be. Doing what feels good for you without feeling like you have to do it. Noticing your breath. You breathing from the belly or you breathing from your chest? When it feels right and you feel ready, and no rush and in no hurry, using your hands and slowly walking your way up, feeling free to move those blocks out of the way, and finding your tabletop again. Maybe giving a couple cat-cows. And maybe taking one more if it feels good. And when it feels right and you feel ready, sending that left foot back, maybe taking a couple rocks here. Maybe holding if you like the stretch. Maybe taking one more like this. And then engaging the core diamond, drawing that belly in tight. And then lifting the right hand. And then lifting left leg. Trying to keep the hips square to the mat. Core diamond engaged. And trying not to reach up with the leg. You want to keep a nice neutral back. And when it feels right and you feel ready, placing that right hand down, settling left foot onto the floor, and then tracing that foot over behind the right leg and looking back towards those toes. For cat, contemplating its tail on the opposite side. And then when it feels right and you feel ready, tracing that foot back across off to the side of the mat. And you can stay right where you are. I'm going to turn so you can see me better. And those toes should come so they're facing towards the front. From here, inviting in that stretch, settling back towards the sit bones. Feeling free to hold here or come in and out of this shape. And one side can be a lot different than the other. This can be a pretty intense stretch. Your breath is usually a good indicator of whether you should come out of a pose or not. If you find yourself holding your breath, that's a dead giveaway. Knowing that you don't have to push any further than what you need to. And then when it feels right and you feel ready, coming up and finding your neutral space again, engaging that core diamond, and then walking hands back and lifting up. So from here, inhaling right hand up above the head. And this could be plenty right here. If you would like, drawing that left hand down, right hand comes over the top and then looking up towards that hand. Noticing your breath here. And then inhaling up. And if it feels good and you would like to try, all options, not requirements. Right hand comes down onto the mat. Left hand comes up above the head. And then lifting left leg, keeping core diamond nice and tight here. Holding for a breath and settling left foot down, followed by that left hand, turning the right knee so you're facing forward. And then if it feels right and you feel ready, you're going to do your yogi's choice. So you can settle that knee down, come back into child's pose and take a break. If it feels good, you can tuck those toes under, lift up into down dog, plank, feeling free to bring your knees down. Coming down into baby cobra, tucking those toes under, and lifting up for down dog, doing your 3 vinyasa flows. This is also a good time to take a drink of water or go to the bathroom, or maybe even doing a shape that we haven't done yet. Honoring any needs that your body may be requesting. And then also knowing that taking a moment to settle or to flow, that one isn't any better than the other. Flowing has its place and relaxation has its place. And then knowing when to tune in, to know what your body needs in that moment and honoring it. And when you're done flowing, you're done settling, in no rush and in no hurry. When it feels right and you feel ready, coming into tabletop, tucking those toes under, lifting up for downward dog, maybe taking your dog for a walk, bending one knee and then the other, and then hopping or walking to the front of your mat for forward fold. Maybe hands connect with opposite elbows. And you give a gentle rock side to side, releasing any tension you may be holding into the lower back. We're giving your neck a gentle nod yes and a slow shake no. And when it feels right and you feel ready, engaging your core diamond, sending sits bones back, lifting up through your chair pose, and finding Tadasana. Taking a moment to arrive here, maybe get some shakes out. It's the first time you've been standing in class. So I invite you to find your Tadasana, and your feet could be hip width apart. And then finding the 3 points on the bottom of your feet. One is below the big toe, below the pinky toe, and then your heel. A lot of times we have an easier time finding the 2, and that third one kind of fades off. We usually have a hard time finding that. Bringing hands to your sides. Maybe they face towards me, or maybe they turn in towards your thighs, whichever feels better here. And then I invite you to inhale your shoulders up towards your ears, and then exhale, rolling the shoulders down your back, almost like you're trying to tuck them into your back pockets. And just taking a moment to arrive. And when it feels right and you feel ready, we're going to make some back strokes, bringing right arm back, followed by left, almost like you're trying to swim backwards. And then taking one more, left arm, then right, and then inhaling, arms up, palms should be connected. Feet come together, and then left hand reaches around and grabs the right wrist, and then leaning towards the left, inviting in that side stretch. Inhaling back up to center, right hand connects with the left wrist, and then leaning towards the right. And then feeling free to release. Standing at the back of your mat, feeling free to leave that blanket if it feels good. And then stepping forward with the left foot, inhaling, hands up above the head for your warrior one. Exhaling, turning that back foot so it faces the long edge of the mat, and cartwheeling the arms down, finding your warrior two shape. So from here, making sure that your front heel is in line with your back heel, and your knee is pointing over the top of your second and third toe. You want to be turned to the side, but never at the expense of your knee. Taking a moment to inhale the shoulders up towards the ears again, and exhaling, rolling them down. So this could look like your warrior two. Maybe it doesn't feel steady, you don't feel stable to have your foot back so far. So maybe this is your warrior two. Finding what works best for you here. And when it feels right and you feel ready, turning your palms upward, straightening that front knee, and inhaling, hands up above head, and exhaling, cleansing breath, coming back down. Inhale up, exhale down. One more, inhale up, and exhale down. Then we're gonna find your warrior two flow. Reverse warrior to extended side angle. Now from here, your reverse warrior could look like this, arms straight up above the head. You don't have to sink into this if you don't want to. And also the same goes for the other way. Arm can come straight up above the head. You don't have to sink down if you don't want to. Finding what works best for you here. Feeling free to flow to your own breath. Finding your own pace here. And then to know that you don't have to flow if you don't want to. Maybe it feels good just to hold here. You are more than welcome to do that. Then maybe taking one more flow if it feels good. Coming back to center, finding your warrior two. And then straightening that front knee and turning that foot so it faces the long edge of the mat. Finding your star shape. So from here, we are going to bring our arms up, almost like you're coming into a goalpost, and then turning on the balls of our feet and turning the heels inward. Finding this little stance like this. So this is your goddess pose. And what we're gonna do here, and I'll show you first, is hinge from the hip, scoop like you're grabbing and coming up and taking off a shirt, and then exhaling, coming down. Hinge from hips, gather, lift up, and exhale down. So I want you to gather everything that you've been holding on throughout the week, throw them up in the air, and release them. One more like this, hinging from the hips, gathering, getting rid of, and release. Beautiful, coming up. Turning heels outward, and then finding your wide-legged stance. Hinging from the hips here, wide-legged forward fold, feeling free to come down and give a little rock side to side here. And knowing that you can sink down as low as you want. And you can also do this as high as you want. Whatever feels best for you and your body today. And taking one more flow. Hands come connected to the ground. And you're going to walk towards the front of your mat, turning those front toes towards the front. And then stepping back, finding your downward dog again. Maybe taking your dog for a walk. And then stepping or hopping forward for a forward fold. Engaging the core diamond, sending hips back, and lifting up through chair pose. Finding your Tadasana. And this is a good time to take a drink of water if it feels good. Run to the bathroom or any other needs that your body may be requesting. And when it feels right and you feel ready, I'm gonna switch sides just so you can see me. You can stay, you don't have to move. And then engaging the core diamond and then stepping over the top of that blanket. Arms come up, exhale down, turning that back foot. Coming down and finding your warrior two shape. Same on this side as last side, palms come facing up. Inhaling up, exhaling, coming down. Inhale up, exhale down. Doing one more like this, inhale up and exhale down. And then finding your warrior two flow. And then once again, knowing that you don't have to flow if it doesn't feel good. And maybe taking one more like this, and then finding neutral, straightening that front leg and turning the foot towards the long edge of the mat, finding your five-pointed star. Taking a moment to arrive here, coming up on the balls of your feet and turning the heels inward. Arms come up like goalposts for your cactus pose, and coming into goddess. Hinging from the hips, gathering what no longer suits us, Exhale, throw them up above the head. Inhale, throw them up above the head, excuse me. Exhale, coming down, releasing. Hinging from the hips, gathering, bringing them up above the head, and exhale, releasing, using that cleansing breath here. Gather up above the head, coming down. Beautiful. One more. Gather, throw above the head, and exhale. Straightening those legs, hands come to the hips, turning the heels outward, hinging from the hips, taking the hands and walking them to the front of your mat, stepping back and settling down for child's pose. And once again, feeling free to bring in the blocks if it feels good, knowing that the knees don't have to come together, that you can have big toes touching, knees spread apart, creating more space and settling head down onto blocks. Taking a moment here to notice your breath. Notice where you're breathing from. And as you take a moment to settle, I'm gonna set up and show you how to come into this next pose. We're moving into restorative. So you're gonna use the 2 blocks. The bolster should come and sit right up next to the edge of your blanket. You're gonna have a block on the medium setting and a block on the high. So the block on the medium setting is gonna come about 1/3 of the way down. And the block on the high setting is gonna come right in underneath the edge of the bolster, just to give it a little added extra support. And then you have a couple options here. You can have legs stretched straight out and then use a blanket to tuck underneath the knees. Or you can draw feet in close. For a butterfly. Then using a blanket to roll up, drawing feet in, blanket comes over the top and tucks under, settling legs to side. Now to come back into this shape, lower back or sacrum should be right up against that bolster. You're gonna grab onto the corners of the bolster and you're going to lay back. Hands coming down to the side, palms facing upward. And then taking a moment to settle. Maybe taking a deep cleansing breath into the nose and exhale out of the mouth. Allowing your body to soften. Closing your eyes. If you have an eye pillow, feeling free to bring that in as well. And allowing every part of your body to relax. Every toe on your left foot. Every toe on your right. The back of your heels. The back of your calves. Relaxing both of your knees. Your hips. Lower back. The fingers on your left hand. The fingers on your right. your forearms, and both your biceps, releasing any tension that you may be holding in your forehead, relaxing around your eyes, unclenching your jaw. Maybe your tongue falls from the roof of your mouth, softening your shoulders and allowing your body from the back of your heels all the way up to the back of your head to feel heavy and to melt into the mat, allowing yourself to be in this present moment, knowing that these next few minutes are for you and just for you. And if you'd like to stay in reclining goddess for a while longer, please feel free to. When it feels right and you feel ready, bringing awareness back to your breath, feeling the ebb and flow of each inhale and exhale. Maybe giving some attention to your fingers and to your toes. If your legs were drawn in close and bound by the blanket, maybe you stretch them out long. And if your legs were stretched out, maybe you draw your feet up onto the mat and rock your knees from side to side. And when it feels right and you feel ready, bringing one hand down onto the floor, followed by the top hand, pushing your way up, and then finding your comfy seat. And it could be different than the seat that you started with. I also invite you to use a blanket or a pillow. And before we end class today, I want to do some pranayama or breath work. So we're going to do Nadi Shodhana. So bringing your pointer finger and your middle finger down, just so I can show this to you, because the other option is to set those fingers onto your third eye. But for demonstration's sake, taking your thumb. So we're going to use these fingers to plug each alternative nostril. So taking the thumb and plugging the right nostril, and you're going to inhale through the left nostril Then plug the left nostril and exhale through the right. Then inhale back in through the right. Plug the right and exhale through the left. Then inhale through the left. Plug the left and then exhale through the right. And if you find that you have a stuffy nose today, it can be just as beneficial to tune in and then just focus on breathing like that. You don't actually have to do it. You can always just use visualization. And then when it feels right and you feel ready, inhaling, arms up above the head, palms connecting, exhale, settling hands to heart. Taking the time to thank yourself for practicing today. And it was an honor to practice with you. As you go on throughout the week, I hope you always find kindness and compassion in your heart, kindness and compassion in your words, and kindness and compassion in your thoughts. Thank you.